Welcome to Dependable Flame, where we explore vintage petrol lighters, ashtrays, tobacciana, and other useful mechanisms. Make yourself at home. Today we have a very interesting little table lighter that we recently found at a vintage antique mall. Some of the parts were disassembled. We are going to disassemble the mechanism and clear the flint tube and hopefully get this lighter mechanism back up and running. You want to start by removing the fulcrum cap. As you can see, our flint spring and screw are already down here on the table as they were not installed in the mechanism when we got it. So we're going to get a screwdriver here on the fulcrum cap and thread that out. Pull the cap off. Grab a pick to push this fulcrum screw out to the point that we can grab it. Hold everything up top here. Pull the fulcrum screw out. And we're going to let everything come up and out of the mechanism. We've got the plunger and the piston spring that operates it. Looks like that tube is clear and we'll just need to clean that up a little bit. Here we have our mechanism with our clutch spring integrated under the snuffer cap, snuffer cup, whatever you want to call that. And it looks like this file wheel will definitely need to be cleaned up. So we're going to get a little bit of 91% isopropyl alcohol here to soak these parts in as a solvent. Should be good enough. Looks like I spilled a little bit here, so we'll wipe that up. Now we will get our plunger and the spring, get our file wheel. Looks like those gears are integrated into the side of this snuffer assembly, so that will work just fine. Go ahead and put the rest of our parts in here too. Them cleaned up as well as we can. Test out our tube here and let's just see. And that tube is clear. Grab another spring here to test this out. Okay, so there you can see the tube is clear. A little bit of a catch in there in the middle somewhere, but that test spring is going all the way from the bottom up through the top of the flint tube. So we will go ahead and clean up the top of this lighter as best we can. You can see some corrosion buildup. Definitely needs a little bit of cleaning. See that wick? It's definitely been used, but where we tugged it up, looks nice and white on the underneath side there, so hopefully the wick will work for us just fine. Get that plunger seat piston seat, whatever you want to call it, cleaned up. So we've got that pretty clean now. Now we will take our soft brass brush and clean off the file wheel. Give that a good scrub with the brush after letting that alcohol cut through the degraded flint dust that was all over it. It looks nice and clean and in really good shape. So we didn't even really have to scrub on that all that much once we let it set and dissolve in the alcohol. So I'm not going to have you sit here and watch me pull the rest of these out of the alcohol. That's all we're basically going to be doing is drying them off, getting everything into position, and then we will reassemble our lighter mechanism once we've got all these parts over here cleaned up. Okay, so we got all these parts cleaned up. Now we are going to reassemble everything. We're going to start with our piston spring and plunger. Place those down the piston seat. Make sure that everything slides up and down as it should. Then we want to slide our file wheel into the snuffer mechanism. That file wheel, the teeth here on the side of it, are going to interact with this little clutch spring right here. See it right there underneath the snuffer cap. That is the clutch spring in this particular mechanism. So we lay our file wheel in there. We're holding everything sideways. Same thing here with the lighter and the plunger. Get everything going down. Take a pick or something to center everything if you need to. Slide the fulcrum screw right into the middle of the mechanism. Everything lined up here on the back side. There we've got the fulcrum screw coming through, so now we can fit the cap on top of that. Tighten our fulcrum cap down. Should be tight enough. The back side being held by our finger. So now we got the mechanism working as it should. Let's get a flint. Place that down the tube, followed by the spring and flint spring screw. Before we tighten that all the way down, we will get our flint grooved all in the right direction. That looks good. Tighten all the way down. Mechanism is sparking as we want it to. Get our fuel screw off here. Our dropper of Roncinol fuel. I don't know, probably 3 or 4 droppers I would think would fill it up. That's number 3. And 4. We will replace our fuel screw. Tighten that down. And there you see we now have a functional table lighter mechanism. Until next time.